So when you use a hand frother as opposed to using a steam wand or steam to froth your milk or your creamer, you have the benefit of being able to either froth your milk or your creamer right in the cup rather, or you can use like a traditional, you can use a pitcher, froth it in here and then transfer it. That's usually easier if you're making more than one cup. A lot of people, if you can, they just like to put it right into, froth it right in the cup, save the dishes. They either add their coffee, either pouring it in, or if you have an espresso, it'll drip right in, or an espresso, it'll go right into the froth. Won't even really disturb the froth. But then when you add the sugar, I know most of you aren't using tablets, but and your cinnamon for your cappuccinos, you will have a problem because you have a choice. Most people choose to put their cinnamon and their sugar in after they've created their froth. Basically, you're adding in your sugar, that goes in, and then you add your cinnamon. Now, when people add their cinnamon, it's generally like a nice little splash, right? And that's what you end up with. And you end up with a problem because you either have to drink it as it is, and that's how it usually comes out. When you put that dash of cinnamon in which case, if you add sugar, you then have to use your spoon, and if you want to mix it all up, you're gonna destroy your froth, and you're gonna just dilute it and mix it in with the coffee. If you choose to just drink it straight up like that, for those of you that don't even use sugar, you're gonna get sips that are inconsistent. The sips that are centered around here are going to be very cinnamony, for lack of a better word. I don't know if that's a real word. And then your other sips will, not contain any cinnamon at all. So it's a choice of either breaking it all up or having concentrated cinnamon and concentrated sugar in there for. So what's the solution? The solution, and I'll show you in a second how easy it is, and you can imagine, is to actually add the sugar and add your cinnamon in to the froth before you froth it up. That's the answer, and you get very consistent tastes. There it is. You get it doesn't look as pretty, to be fair, but it's a better, more consistent taste. You get the sugar and the cinnamon mixing together, which is an incredible taste as well, and you don't have to disrupt anything. The coffee can drip right into here. So I'll just show you how easy it is to do it. I think I waited long enough where this may have formed the skin. It did, and I always tell people this is not what you want to do. That means I heated it up too much. If you want some more instruction in terms of how to froth, I made an early video, a while back on the Aerolatte and how to froth. But for now, it's easy enough to show you. I'll skip some of the steps, but I did preheat this. Add your sugar. Add your cinnamon and get to frothing. This is coming out lighter than this because I obviously put more cinnamon in here. And arguably, when you do it this way, you can actually add more cinnamon. Because if you put a whole glob of cinnamon using this method, it's going to be really, really concentrated and just too much, right? It doesn't spread out enough. That's why people don't use it. But people, I love cinnamon. I think it really enhances the coffee. So I'll put a little bit more in. But when you do it this way, because it's getting dispersed, you can actually use a lot more versus when you do it the traditional method of adding cinnamon after you've frothed. Anyway, that's quite frothy. And now it is easy enough for us to drip some coffee in there. Just wait for the espresso to get hot. We'll zoom in on there. You can see the cinnamon dispersed, the sugar's all mixed up, as opposed to if we were going over here, we'd have to start doing this, and destroys our foam. and so forth. I don't actually have any coffee in there, so that's why it's not accurate. But when you start mixing it with the coffee, it destroys it. So you'll see how it just drips in. Doesn't disturb the foam at all. And then when you take your sips, there's coffee on the bottom. It comes up through the foam. You get the taste of the cinnamon, you get the taste of the sugar. It's all mixed in there. It's a little hidden treat underneath your original espresso, and it's far more delicious, I think, than the traditional way. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you found this at all helpful, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe down below. Thank you for joining me.